Hi everyone, it's Carol here, and in today's video, we're going to look at the connection between our emotions and our sleep. Because oftentimes we're not recognizing that what is keeping us awake is actually the emotion that we're feeling at the time we're going to bed. So, how can we recognize the emotion we're feeling? And then what can we do about it so that we can fall asleep quicker and actually stay asleep all night? So, why don't you do me a favor? Before we get into this video, I'd like to ask you for a quick favor. Could you please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like my videos, maybe leave a comment, or share this with someone who could really use the help in getting better sleep? Because I know that once we start sleeping better, we just feel better overall and we're just better people to be around. So if you know anyone or yourself that really need the help with better sleep, just make sure that you watch the videos and you start implementing some of the stuff I'm teaching you in the video. So now let's go to our emotions and our lack of ability to fall asleep when we're feeling really strong emotions. So I don't know about you, but for me, if I go to bed frustrated or angry or worried about something, my mind is going to start ruminating. And I know because I've done a lot of nervous system work that that means that my nervous system is in that sympathetic, activated fight flight mode. And when that happens, the emotions that follow that state of our nervous system are usually like anxious, frustration, worry, all of those emotions, right? And so when we feel that way, it's harder to fall asleep. Do you relate to that? Do you often find yourself there at night with a hard time falling asleep? So I wrote a few notes today of things that I don't want to forget to talk about. So I'm just going to kind of look at my note once in a while to make sure I don't forget to mention something that's really important. So the first question I had here written is, why do emotions show up stronger at bedtime? We could have had a day where it was busy and stressful, but we didn't really have a whole lot of emotions, but we were go, go, go all day. And then all of a sudden it's quiet time, we're getting ready for bed, and everything surfaces again. Have you ever experienced that? So that's one type of emotions we're going to talk about. And the second type is different than that, where you might have had a quiet day. You might have had a really gentle day, actually, and has nothing to do with the stress of the day, the emotions you're feeling at bedtime, but there are more emotions about sleep, meaning like the dread that I'm going to lay here for hours again without being able to fall asleep, the anxiety that I might not fall asleep, the fear that comes up with if I don't get a good night's sleep, I won't be able to function tomorrow. So I really do see like there's two sides here, but at the end of the day, we can use these tools on both sides. So the first one that I talked about, why is it that from a nervous system's perspective that my emotions come on stronger at night? This is how I like to see it and explain it. So when I'm go, 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 I am in my sympathetic nervous system, meaning my fight flight. So I'm go, go, go all day, and maybe I get cut off in traffic by someone, or maybe someone gives me extra work at work, and I just already have so much on my plate and I just can't keep managing. And maybe I just burnt supper because I wasn't being conscious of what I'm doing. I burnt supper, but I don't have time right now to feel anything because I have to get the kids to soccer practice. I have to maybe go to an event, or there's so much happening. So all day long my nervous system goes into the sympathetic. But what happens to our nervous system when it's in sympathetic too long, it overwhelms and then it puts on, like I like to say, the sympathetic energy trying to go through, feel, be expressed. And when I don't have the opportunity, there's like a layer of freeze that come on top. And for me, this really represents the, okay, I'm not going to think about it. I'm going to repress, put all those emotions in my body, and I'm not going to think about it because I just don't have time. So when nighttime comes and I'm now ready to get into bed, so this layer of freeze that was there to kind of protect me from feeling all that so that I could manage my day, that lifts off because it's no longer needed there because I have time now. There's space, there's time, there's a want of my nervous system to express all this energy that was repressed in my body. But this is the anger, the frustration, the disappointments, that all of this that I haven't had time to feel. It could also be joy, connectedness, all those emotions, but usually they're not. They're usually the harder felt emotions like the frustration, anger, and those kind of stuff. So they're bubbling up right at bedtime. And what can I do in order to not have these emotions show up so strong. So there's some things you could do during the day. So you could actually take moments in the day to pause, to recognize like, oh wow, like yeah, there's a lot on my plate, and maybe kind of reorganize your day, do something. There are things to do during the day. But what I like to do before bed is an activity I call putting the day to rest. So what is this, putting the day to rest? Is basically that's what it is. I'm going to put my day to rest. I like to do it with a journal or maybe some gentle tapping. If you don't know what tapping is, we're going to talk about it in a little bit again. But just expressing what happened during the day, what I was feeling, acknowledging the emotion. And oftentimes just doing that clears enough mental space for the emotions to process and then be able to fall asleep quickly. And at the same time, you find that, oh, okay, things I didn't get done today, putting them on a piece of paper will stop your mind from waking you up, making sure you don't forget about it the next day. So that's like my first suggestion, is putting your day to rest. Now, the second scenario where we're finding ourselves maybe frustrated about not being able to sleep, or fear showing up at bedtime, or any of those, the way I would deal with those would be to actually acknowledge the emotion and do some gentle tapping. So if you don't know what tapping is, it's an emotion, it's called emotional freedom technique, EFT, or another word, they call it tapping. In a drop-in class that I'm having on June 30th, so in a few days from now, depending on when this video gets released, we will be doing learning how when to regulate the emotions we're feeling versus when to process the emotion I'm feeling. Because sometimes we want to express the emotion that's feeling, but it might not be the right time at bedtime. We might want to do this during the day. And I always do this with tapping. So we're going to learn the gentle tapping technique in this drop-in class, and I'm going to show you how to use it. But just quickly, if it's anxiety, and I'll also share a link for a video I have here on tapping for the anxiety that shows up at night, but just acknowledging it, like even though I'm feeling anxious right now, anxious because I might have a hard time falling asleep. I acknowledge this anxiety that's here right now, 3 times on the side of the hand, and just like this anxiety that I'm feeling at bedtime, this current anxiety, this anxiety. And as I'm tapping through the points, I mean, I'll post a video so you can actually do a tapping for anxiety if you wish. But as we tap through the points, we acknowledge the emotion. Oftentimes it just wants to be heard and then it calms down. So just to recap, there could be different reasons why you're feeling emotions before bedtime. So one being busy, go, go, go all day, didn't really have time to process. The second one would just be like the fear, the anxiety about not sleeping. Both of those can be dealt with different ways, but at the same time, tapping being a powerful tool in both of those. And we're actually going to look at that on our drop-in class on June 30th. And if you're watching this after June 30th, know that there's a free resource, which I'm going to link below, which is Tapping for Anxiety, or you can actually buy a copy of the recording and go through what we've done with the exercises to help us really reframe, that could be the wrong word, but reframe the emotions we're feeling instead of seeing them as something negative, but instead seeing it as our nervous system trying to speak to us through those emotions, and what can we do then so that they don't keep us awake at night. So that's it for me today. I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, just either leave a comment below or email me at support@sleepsuccessacademy.com. I would love to hear from you.